All right, so now we get another getting the team together episode.
Yeah.
Well, this is the actual getting of the team.
Yeah. It's fun that we're getting like characters added to the team that could actually talk instead of just growl and squeak and screech like we had with Beastmaster.
That's true. Yeah. There's nobody. He had nobody to talk to.
I'm a little disappointed that Hawk isn't like walking along and his companions pass like and now I have my tall guy and I have my short guy and I have my weird ear guy.
Howling and screeching is not a nice way for you to describe Brenda. I've now got my howling and my screeching.
Why are you talking about me like that?
I don't mean to be. I miss you, Brenda.
I think we all
dinner and everything.
Yeah, we're only on the third cut of Hawk the Slayer, but I think we could all agree that we miss Brenda.
Oh,
yeah, let's get into the actual intro. Roll the music.
Here we are.
This is Swordboys Cut by Cut. We're here to talk about Hawk the Slayer Cut 3. I'm Robin.
I'm Rick.
I'm Jonathan. Ooh.
That's right. This is Cut 3. It begins with Hawk entering the witch's cave, and it ends with the table of 5 riding to Caddenbury. If you're watching along, this cut begins at 30 minutes, 35 seconds, and it ends at 45 minutes, 35 seconds.
I just want to say this. There is never a table of those 5 people. Just
saying it
in case you're wondering.
There are tables at the Abbey.
There are tables at the Abbeys,
around.
but the witch never goes. So she's not. Is she part of the 5?
Yeah, that is a good question.
Thank you.
Definitely want to discuss that because we get the phrase, the table of 5 is something that she comes up with. That is her statement. And so, I'm pretty sure she's looking at Hawk, Ranulf, and the others, and she's like, yeah, you guys, you're the table of 5. I'm just your fast travel system. Don't get me involved in any of your fighting. Although,
that's not 5 of them.
Don't get me involved with any of your fighting.
Maybe
she's
maybe
a
it's
whisper
a joke.
witch.
Maybe it's a joke because Ranulf kept his fingers and he gave each person in the party one of his fingers. So they are they're the table of 5.
Yeah, what do you mean there's not 5? Because Hawk is 1, Ranulf is 2, Gort, Crow, and Baldin. That's 5.
Oh, I forgot about Baldin.
Is this a party of 5?
That's a good reference to a show no one watched.
Hey, it's another show with Matthew Fox in it, so
yeah,
why not?
It's for all of those people in the early to mid 90s watching television.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So our exposition witch, he does some hexposition for us. Thank you, Robin.
It's hexposition. Should we have you ride the horse? No, I'm gonna burn the shit out of my hands and throw some flash powder on it.
And we finally see her face. Magenta has shown up on set.
Thank you. Patricia Quinn finally here. Actually, before we get into her, I just got to say, all this traveling through the spooky forest that we didn't see before he picked up Ranulf, that was just to get back to the cave. I was just like, oh, we're just back at the cave. He's like, we got to get through the spooky forest. But it's just to go back to the cave.
Does that mean he rode through the spooky forest the first time and they just didn't show it?
I think he took the long way around the spooky forest before he eventually ran into Ranulf. And then once he got Ranulf, he's like, listen, I know that we could travel, due north the opposite direction as I traveled due south to get here, but there's just a much faster way. It's a high level combat zone, but if we move quickly, we can avoid any of the combat and just slip right through. Just make sure you use your dash action instead of trying to fight.
Oh man, Rick is making some Baldur's Gate 3 references.
Oh, yeah. I'm slipping into D&D mode at this point. This is what we are.
So the exposition in this is they pull out the Superman 2 rings, and put him around Hawk.
Is he going to get sent into the Phantom Zone? Is that what this is?
Well, if the head of the what is it, the monastery was here, he could be here to be like guilty, but he's not here.
If you've never seen this effect before, those spinning rings are they're built like that, and they just spin in a circle, and the optical illusion is that they're hooping on each other. It's just that shape, and it just turns in a circle. It looks cool as shit.
It does.
It always looks super cool because they light it up so you can't tell, but it's just a shape.
Just a couple of hula hoops. On a turntable, which is why John Terry cannot move.
Oh yeah,
stay perfectly still.
It's so weird in the background that each time they gain a person, each time they go to a cutscene, do the fight, and then come back, they're all completely motionless. And we meet for the first time. We do meet our giant, in quotes, Gort.
This is Gort.
Hey, Gort, played by
Bernard Bresslaw,
who we know from
Krull.
Hell yeah.
Matter of fact, he's really irritated right now because the witch stole his bandana that he wore during Krull.
He had a little jaunty bandana around his neck. I remember that.
Well, no, it's the fact that she's got it around her eyes and only has one eye. And of course, he played the Cyclops in Krull. So.
Krull, another movie influenced by Hawk the Slayer.
Oh, of course. Yeah. All the throwing things, I guess.
Yep.
And I believe Jack Palance played the villain in that as well, right?
Well, because one of the characters in this is named Crow. They just named it Krull.
Oh, yeah. Bernard is 6'7".
Not that giant. I mean, that's above average, of course.
It's above average. Yeah. Literally. And I found out, he passed away. He died on stage from a heart attack during a production of Taming of the Shrew. He just died of a heart attack.
He went out treading the boards.
Yeah, went out on the boards. Yeah.
Well, I guess if all Shakespearean actors want to go, because he was like famous, like he was like a big time Shakespearean actor. Yeah, big time.
So. You should make all sorts of references to us, like for the.
Look how big he is. Huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is where for those keeping up, this is where I remembered I'd seen this movie. When we were rewatching, I'm like, this is very familiar, especially when he goes over and fixes the wagon and then breaks the wagon again. I was like, I've seen this movie because I know what he's about to do. So
he lifts the wagon, he puts the wheel on, and he gives it just 3 taps with his hammer. And I'm like, that doesn't seem very safe. You might want to maybe bring it to Tire Warehouse, have a look at. Probably
put it up on a lift
alignment. Yeah,
especially since your whole cart seems to be made out of foam.
Yeah. Also, this guy, this sniveling, he's called like rat nose, pick nose, yada yada. This guy says that Gort has drunk enough ale for 3 men, but yet the other part of the deal was like he'd give him 2 pennies, and he's dickering on the 2 pennies. The ale, drink all you want. Maybe it's because he's like an ale guy and he had a lot of stock. I have no idea. But
why didn't he just do it all in ale?
Yeah, I'm looking at those barrels and he's got plenty of ale. Like, don't even bother with the money at that point.
Right. I do love that at this point, this is the amount of steam or heat coming off that fire. It's a lot. If you look around them, it is so cold. Their breath, all of their breath is coming out like in plumes for the rest of this scene. It's pretty great. It means it's freezing cold. It's got to be the winter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm seeing even Gort is breathing steam.
All of them. It's great.
We have yet another group of people just sitting around a fire. Who are these guys?
Yeah. Who are they? And why are they want to fight?
My notes call them men at arms. Okay. I just assume they're like peacekeepers of the realm that just happen to be hanging out, because why else would they rally to the call for justice?
It would have been great if they were also men that worked for the Hunchback.
Right.
And this actually turns into like a weird, like the B story is actually the Hunchback's pissed because Hawk is screwing up all of his business.
Yeah.
And he's also mad at Voltan. for choking out one of his employees and then also cutting the tongue out of the other one.
It could also be that these guys are technically under the employ of the ale merchant, in which case, like, why aren't they helping with the
there's no way they know.
There's no way.
This is obviously like one of those camps where you just kind of show up and, everybody's like, well, this is just kind of where everybody's going to camp today.
Yeah. Again, this movie, here, I guess I'll hang out.
It's a cutscene. There's not you don't know why they're there. They're just there. Stop asking questions, Rick.
Listen, it was a handful of miniatures that the DM just dumped on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Said, yeah, they're here.
Oh, you didn't notice there were 6 guys sitting by the fire.
Okay, everybody roll perception.
Yeah.
Nobody got above a 10. Okay. Yeah, I'll just hide these guys.
So Gort fights them all with his giant hammer and with his hands.
And his Shaw Brothers sound library, because boy, every punch kick, like I've heard these in all sorts of different movies.
And then once he wins, they all cower, and out of nowhere, Hawk. Ooh. And then there's the muted ooh, like it's a call and response, like it's like as if I walked up to you and you're a sword boy and I went ooh, and you went ooh, like that. There's like a response to my oohies.
That's true. I think anybody who's listening who sees us in public, please greet us with an ooh, and we will return.
We would love an ooh. We'd love a clang clang.
Yeah, because honestly, walking
that shirt's
around,
going to be coming out soon. We're going to have a clang clang shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. It's not a cling clang?
No, that's insane. Why would we have a cling clang?
Sorry.
It's like cling clang is what we say at the end of the episode. It's not what we wear on our apparel.
I say clang clang. I'm always
saying clang clang.
I've
literally never said clang clang.
I've never said cling clang once.
I've always said cling clang.
Oh no, there's got to be 2 shirts.
Maybe
okay, yeah.
Just
you'll have
personalized.
2 competing shirts.
I'm team clang clang.
Yeah.
Team cling clang, yeah.
I've cling clang. I've always said cling clang. Who says cling cling though? That's
stupid.
People who have attachment issues. Yeah. Anyway, I do appreciate how the Man-at-Arms fight begins with Gort being told that he should clean up the mess. And he's like, I would shoot or eat shit. The Man-at-Arms is like, well, that can be arranged.
Oh, yeah. Another, I would say maybe, could this be a line of the cut? I don't know if you want to tech of the... you can wash it. You can wash it down with your own blood if need be. It was actually a pretty badass line.
Yeah.
Is it as good as Wait for Me in the Night or whatever it was?
Listen, this
I'll
Man
be
at
watching
Arms,
in the night.
His chin and his dialogue are writing checks that his fighting ability cannot cash.
Gort looks so bored. Oh,
well, when
the actor and the character.
When you're several inches taller than everybody, fighting is not that challenging.
Nope.
So is the party being arranged by weapon? Like, okay, we need a guy with a hammer. We need a guy with a bow and arrow.
We need a guy with a whip.
A whip and knives. Whip and knives.
I got the sword.
We can't have guys. We're doubling up. We have too many swords. I'm the sword guy.
Yeah. Listen, Hawk, he is your Eldritch Knight fighter. Because he's got the magic and stuff like that. You've got your barbarian in the giant. You've got your dex fighter in the dwarf, and then you've got your bow guy. And then Ranulf is there just to round out utility.
Ranulf is Shadowheart in Baldur's Gate 3. She's just kind of like not really useful, but kind of useful sometimes.
Listen, clerics fill a lot of necessary party functions.
I wouldn't say Ranulf is even a cleric. He's nothing. What is he? He's just more DPS.
Yeah.
You guys are talking language I do not understand. I only saw the movie. I don't know any of this.
Yeah. The main
what part does Chris Pine come in?
The main thing that keeps Ranulf from being a cleric is the fact that he has multiple attacks per turn. That is something that clerics do not normally get.
Also, clerics would be able to heal themselves.
Exactly.
Or maybe he did heal himself, Ranulf.
It is kind of like a campaign, right? Because you want to you don't have like two white guys with two, like they both have swords. Like you need, like, it's got to be, he's send another guy with it's got to be a different race and a different weapon.
Yeah.
But there's still a bunch of white guys. It's just a white guy that's short, a white guy that's tall, a white guy with 40 years.
Yeah, despite what Hawk said in the last cut about the black ones protecting their own, everybody is just pasty, pale, pink white.
It's England.
Right. And also, like, okay, so we do have two white humans. They're not a different race. One's got a different weapon, but let's have him lose a hand as well. That way it's something different here.
I mean, the important thing is that you don't want everybody using the same equipment, because then, like, when you're looting bodies, you don't want, like, one guy gets the best sword and then the other guy gets the second best sword, and you don't want to have to worry about that trickle down stuff. If everybody has a different weapon, then, whenever you find the best hammer, it always goes to Gort. When you find the best bow, it always goes to Crow.
It came on to me here, like, it came on to me. What am I talking about?
Show us on the doll where the movie touched you.
Magenta is in this movie, so you're having feelings you haven't had in a while.
Watch for me in the dark.
Are you telling that to Magenta? Are you threatening her?
What was I even saying? Oh,
no one knows.
The transportation. Okay, we just sent Hawk through Rodney Dangerfield rides through a haunted forest in slow motion with disco theme. But now it's like, okay, just so you know, I could have teleported you anytime.
Because she wasn't on set.
Yeah.
The last scene where we saw her, we saw the back of her head and she's like, "Oh, I see a one-armed man. You should go to him. Could you teleport me?" No.
Right.
No. Can't turn around.
No.
Just go. Should I look upon you before I go? No. No. When you come back, you can look at me all you want.
Yeah. I'll take my close up then.
And it's super close up. So yeah, he's
I just don't understand
back in his Phantom Zone teleporter.
Yeah,
and she, I read that this actress was burned a couple of times by those stupid flashbangs that she throws in the fire.
Yeah, because she probably doesn't know how close she is to the fire.
Because it's like magnesium. It's like she's like throwing it's not good.
Yeah, this isn't the Midnight Society where it's just a handful of sawdust or anything like that. Like,
so she keeps beaming them out of her Yoda cave.
And it's funny because the guys sitting around, like, now Gort's just sitting there and Ranulf's sitting there, but there's just zero reaction to,
and they don't say hi to each other, like, "Hi, I'm Gort."
Yeah. Oh, you must be. Shh. She's teleporting.
Oh man, we should make a shirt
still.
Instead of "I am Knuff," we should have an "I am Ranulf."
Yes, absolutely.
I am Ranulf.
Yeah.
And just have like a few fingers laying there.
So many t-shirts.
I have to wonder what the other party members do while Hawk is out recruiting other people. Like, he leaves and then they're like, "Oh, okay, so we can move now. You want to like go hang out outside of the cave maybe a little bit?" And then, like, the witch is like, "They're coming back, quick, get into position again."
Yeah,
they can't look like you ever left. So our next cut scene, they move on to the next cut scene. They're going to go
another part of the smoky forest.
They're going to go get Crow. This is what I love, is if you turn the camera the other way, you would see those guys sitting by the fire, those men at arms. It's just the same place.
Right. Yeah. Another place in the woods that somebody's just randomly hanging out in.
Well, there's a blacksmith here this time.
Well, yeah, but he's just kind of lightly tapping away at this.
He's in the finishing phase.
Busy work.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't doing anything at that point to those arrows. I love that he walks them over, hands them to him, and he's like, he looks at them and then hands him money, and it's like, that dude's great. This whole time, this blacksmith's one of my favorite. He's my favorite character of this cut because he doesn't say anything. He just stands there in that little sniveling Prince John guy. That's what I'm calling the guy who helps the other bowman. He just kind of walks up, like, "Say, I've got something in the woods that needs to be worked on.
Good evening.
Hello, good sir. Could you work on this?
Walter.
Can you work on this?" And then he says, "Can you work on this?" And the guy doesn't move, and he pulls out one coin. Nothing. He pulls out two coins. The guy just grabs the coins, takes stuff, and leaves. It's great. The best.
Mm.
It's a man who knows what he is and knows what he does.
Yep.
Can I say that Crow's outfit looks like tomato soup left in a pot all day? Like
it
you
does
get that
have like
film.
bit of a crustiness to it. Yeah.
It does. He's the skin on top of chocolate pudding. Forget another Seinfeld reference.
Mm.
Yeah, I've always thought of him when I saw him. I thought of him as the David Carradine character from Kung Fu when he's in the Old West. You know, there's like kind of a like it's kind of a weird Davy Crockett. I like it meets Campbell's soup kind of look. It's elvish. We don't understand it, guys. It's elvish,
Right. It's a different culture than ours.
Yeah. So yeah. Ooh, here he comes. He's gonna come over there.
Yep.
And
introducing, he is Fitzwalter, the humble companion of the great Ralph of Coggeshall,
which is a real person. I went and looked it up.
Master Bowman.
Ralph of Coggeshall. He died in 1227. He was an English chronicler and was the first monk and sixth abbot of Coggeshall Abbey. And he was there during the Third Crusade. Who knew?
And here in this movie, he's immortalized as just an asshole with a bow.
Yep, a guy who kills fruit. A fruit killer.
Recognizable actor.
Yep.
Derek O'Connor.
Yep. What do we know him from?
Well, he was in Brazil and Time Bandits.
There it is.
But of course, I don't know.
Time Bandits, what else?
Was the main henchman under Diplomatic Immunity, Lethal Weapon 2.
Yep.
He was the father in Ben Affleck's Daredevil movie, the father in the church. He always good. And Alias fans might know him as Alexander Cassino.
If he looks tall, it's because he's only 3.5 inches shorter than the giant.
Well, they don't ever have a scene together, so we'll never be able to tell.
Right.
Yep.
Do you guys know how much an anvil of that size would have cost to create in this time, in this weird time that they live in?
I mean, I assume it would cost enough that you would not leave it alone in the forest unattended.
No. Well, who could pick it up?
Wile E. Coyote.
He doesn't pick them up more this. You know how much an anvil is normally? Like even the normal ones? They're like $3,000.
Well, yeah, because they're very specific on how you make them, right?
Yeah, they have to be out of a certain kind of metal. Forged.
Are we going to cover Anvil, the story of Anvil on this podcast?
No. What is that?
That's a documentary actually about a rock group called Anvil.
Oh, is that a goddamn music reference?
It's a music documentary reference. Darn it.
So anyway, there's going to be a battle of bows. Yes. Yeah. Have you also like my predecessor, Prince John? I love an archery contest. Yeah,
I love that they're rolling around the countryside, basically doing the pool hustler thing.
Yeah.
Except
I don't even know how this bow works. I just got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, he is wearing Sir Hiss's hat.
He absolutely is.
Poor boa constrictor back on the branch in the last cut.
Still on that branch. Someone come get me. I'm so cold.
Stole my hat. I mean, he did, show it's not exactly a hustle, because the hustle is the fact that the guy's going to murder him while he's distracted.
Right.
He does show off his skill with the bow and arrow by shooting an apple out of the air and then catching the arrow as it comes down.
Yeah, but then
I can do the same thing, but me catching the arrow would be the arrow going into me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's like able to shoot the arrow, or he's able to shoot the arrow into the apple. But when they actually do the competition, he does not break the string clean. Like the red string is Crow's, and the yellow string is his. The red string snaps clean. The yellow string, the arrow goes in, but there's a single strand holding the yellow string still in place. So he's not as good as Crow, which is why Fitzwalter is always, stabbing people.
Okay, I got a couple. We get our first shot of Crow taking his hood off.
Oh yeah, he is 100% a Vulcan from Star Trek.
I'd like to talk about. Is there
pointed ears?
Is there something in his hair? Is there like a locket or something? There's something on the side of his head.
There is.
What is that?
It's like a little loop-de-loop thing.
I can't tell if it's like a little like Sylvan Glade type, like one of those little brooches that the hobbits wear around their cloaks.
And it's only on his left side.
Yes. And those are the worst fake ears I've ever seen.
They're enormous.
They're enormous and fake and awful. And you can see the glue and the putty.
This actor is Ray Charleston. I just wrote not much of a filmography. It really isn't much.
Well, gosh, after being in this movie, I don't know why not. You were talking about not doubling up on swords and different weapons. What about doubling up on the amount of Valium? He's just like, well, I'm going to do mine really high pitched.
Yeah,
and
he's an elf, so his voice has to be higher.
So I speak like this.
It's dull. Like he talks like Whopper from War Games. Like it is just mechanical, like a machine.
Like,
shall we play?
He wastes his time and mine.
The best way to win at archery is not to play.
Save the target.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's they do this arrow thing where it's like 1, 2, 3. And they're gonna shoot the arrow and he's gonna stab Crow in the back. And
except that Hawk shows up
with his blunt sword.
Yep. I do love that we've got a couple of bird friends here, Hawk and Crow.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
They are bird friends.
They bonded over that, I'm sure.
And Gort the giant robot from the day the Earth stood still.
Yes.
I imagine their first meeting was like, I am Hawk. You're Hawk? Oh my gosh, I'm Crow.
Oh my God.
Birds.
What?
Did we just become best friends? Yep. Yep.
Fitzwalter is very out of shape too, by the way. To kind of backtrack, the amount of effort you could hear from him to throw just a string around a tree and tie it. He's just like,
he's making his dad noises there.
Yeah.
So yeah, they do their little contest. Crow wins. He does the gimme with his hand, gets the money, and then they do a showdown.
And Crow is able to fire his arrow so fast that Ralph doesn't even see it coming. It's that fast. Because we
haven't gotten to the point yet. Robin hasn't actually seen Crow in battle yet, which is pretty badass.
Okay.
Yeah, just wait.
Is he Lego less or more?
He's Lego more.
Okay, good.
But yeah, they do a little. Yet another. Now I can't stop looking at his shirt and thinking of Campbell's soup. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
They made his sideburns that long to cover the shitty ear, like rubber.
Yeah,
that's definitely on his ear. He shoots him with an arrow. Ralph dies. Ralph kind of does like I can see my house from here. One last.
And then Fitzwalter comes in and he's like, I knew your tongue would be the death of you, God's blood. I have a mind to take who gives it out and throttle you. It's like it's like that battle on Boston Commons back in Highlander, except like the roles are reversed where the rich guy dies and the servant is the one that's angry.
I kind of needed Crow to come back over and get the arrow out because he did just pay for those.
Right.
I kind of wanted him to go back and get his arrow and put it back in his sheath, his quiver.
Like he only has so many arrows and he literally just put more.
In this movie, that is not true. He has a magic amount of arrows because he never runs out.
Right.
Just like the arrows that Ranulf has. Ranulf has Ranulf arrows. Always. How many arrows do you have? Ranulf.
Don't worry about it.
1 is none. 2 is 1. I have Ranulf. So he is now magically there.
How does Hawk communicate to the witch? Beam me up, witchy.
He's got a little pendant and he hangs it on his shirt and he just taps it and it chirps a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 2 to beam back. And the witch is like, energize.
It doesn't flip open. Flipping open's the best part.
No, it's just tap the pendant on your shirt. No, and again, we're back in the cave and they're all just sitting stoically.
Yep. And the witch
we might need someone to draw this for a t-shirt because that would be such a good t-shirt.
Yes.
Of him in the loops and them all behind him. That might be a fun. Might need to talk to Niall about that.
Yeah.
Get some sort of really fun drawing of it. Because it's iconic in that it's weird as hell.
It's like almost inexplicable. Yeah.
And then we're transported to Rome.
That's right. The witch tells Hawk to look into the flames for the last time. One more, and we are complete. The table of 5, aforementioned phrase that we discussed at the top of the episode. But Hawk has to go after the dwarf, and then we get a chanting priest and a couple of bald monks. They are ready to. Oh gosh, what's the Tullys in Game of Thrones that burn their dead?
Mm-hmm.
And there's that fail son who can't hit the raft with the burning arrow.
Yes, totally what I thought of. And I was thinking, like, God, I would love to actually learn some long range archery, because I'd love to have the skill to shoot up in the air and have it land in the right place.
Well, I mean, the whole idea of that is you teach your children how to do that. So that way, when you die, they'll be able to hit your raft.
Robin, you're missing out. When you go to Indianapolis in October for Movies by Minutes, we're going to do this. We're going to put somebody out on a raft and we're going to shoot at them with arrows. It's going to be awesome.
Or you could have them just like run in a straight line and see if you can get them.
Well, that's more the dangerous game, and I'm more into raft funeral.
I could think of a few people that might be joining this year that, might be good cannon fodder. Just saying.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, Jeff's a good runner.
I'm going to pull a history stickler.
Okay.
This episode is scheduled to come out after Indianapolis.
Oh, so God damn it!
We have to speak about it in past tense.
Okay, RSVP Jeff.
I can't believe we killed Jeff. One of our listeners, he passed at Indy when we shot him full of arrows.
The live demonstration did not go as planned.
So back to the movie, we got a bunch of Hare Krishnas making s'mores here.
Yep.
So good for them.
Our dwarf is painted as he's always dirty, like he's mad. He actually in the water. He says "yick water." So obviously he must smell all the time.
This dwarf is 5'2", by the way. The actor Peter O'Farrell.
Not really that small.
I mean,
smaller than average.
Yep. And then this priest will not let up. Keep calling him a toad, smelly. Hey man, mess. Hey, maybe cool it. He's right there. And so he takes his whip, and he's hungry. So he takes his whip, and in one of the most iconic scene ever, he grabs a fish and eats it like
just slips it right down his throat.
Oh, it's upsetting.
Yeah. I also wanted to mention Peter O'Farrell was in Legend. He was also in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. And one of my favorite credits he has is The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight, not the movie, not the Christopher Nolan movie. This is a series from the early 2000s. Very much, it's very much up the Swordboys alley. And which was also showrun by one Terry Marcel, who might be a familiar name this season, the guy that directed this movie. So, he called him back for The Dark Knight, which is not the Batman movie.
Yeah.
So
one thing
he looks very much like a Xena,
one thing I forgot to bring up with Bernard Bresslaw. I actually had this note and then I completely forgot about it. He was in The Fifth Musketeer. We may not want to add that to our list. Have you guys ever heard of it?
No.
From 1979. It's the same. It's the Man in the Iron Mask and the Three Musketeers put together. We might want to do this as a TC Boo because we're doing Three Musketeers, the Disney version. When you hear this cast, you're going to say, I'm sorry, what? Beau Bridges as King Louis the 14th.
I'm sorry, what?
What? Ian McShane as Farquaad. Alan Hale Jr. as Porthos. Lloyd Bridges as Aramis. And of course, Jose Ferrer as Athos.
Wow.
And Olivia de Havilland as the Queen Mother.
Ooh.
And Rex Harrison.
Oh my God.
It's bonkers.
Wow.
We might, and Ursula Andress also in this.
Ursula Andress too?
Yes. We might need to watch this movie.
We might have to.
I like one of the writers is Alexander Dumas. I'm like, no, he's not one of the writers of this movie. He wrote a book a long time ago.
Like the movie is old, but it's not that old.
And Silvio Cristel as Maria Teresa. So we need to add this. The fifth Musketeer.
Okay.
It is added to the list.
All right, thank you. I just want to see Beau Bridges as French king. Like, when I think French, I think Beau Bridges. Yes.
Yeah.
I want to see that. But I was looking this up with the other movie, with Lynn. I was looking up Kroll and the other things that Bernard had been in, Gort had been in. And I was like, holy crap, why have we not talked about this movie? And they're definitely swords in it.
Apparently, if I was British, I would know all about I don't know how many different Carry On movies that Bernard was in. There's so many movies.
Oh, yeah.
Carry On this, Carry On that.
And they say that he was typecast into those movies, and that was a bad thing for his career. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're not British, so we don't know.
Exactly.
Anyway, back to the disgusting
so smelly
dwarf.
Right.
To be fair, these Hare Krishnas just want to purify his soul. Nothing about purifying his body at all. It's so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the implication is that, the wench knocked him out, and then the priests found him in the gutter, and he was just so foul that they're like, listen, we can't clean this guy. There's the clothes are lost. We need to burn him just to make the county smell better.
And then we're back in the Yoda cave, and he has, I guess, told them about the abbess.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would like to just read the lines that he says, because this movie, like Beastmaster, doesn't have a ton of talking other than Jack Palance. Most of these actors and Ranulf does some acting. I take that back. And the basically the lead character doesn't talk as much as Gort talks, because he's a real actor. Gimli, Baldwin, whatever his name is, he talks some, but this is the line that he says. He goes, now you know what is happening with the abbess of, what is it, Clottenberry, whatever the hell it is.
It's Caddenberry.
Caddenberry, if we fail. And then he says, remember, Voltan has many men, and we are few. If it comes to a battle, it will go hard on us. Wow. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for pepping me up. And also, what?
And then Gort seems to come in with a bit of a side tangent.
Oh yeah. Gort is fat and ready for battle. He misses the old days.
He's like, listen, I'm not as young as I once was.
Yeah.
Was it? I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was.
Because giants have big midlife crises.
Right.
I'm looking to settle down with a much younger woman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he says the exact line is, since last I fought by your side, time has hung heavy. And that's not the only thing that hangs heavy. Heyo.
Is he talking about his ding dong?
I added the heyo. So.
Wow.
He's like winking at the witch, and she can't see him because of the blindfold.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm watching this scene and I'm going, why are these guys motivated to go save this abbess?
They're bored.
If there's so many people they have to fight and they're gonna die, they could die fighting Voltan and his dark. Like, why? There's no promise of money. There's no
fortune.
How is
glory,
this,
kid?
Yeah, but there's no fortune. The fortune is the money that Voltan wants. Like, they should go work for Voltan. They might get a piece of that 2,000 pieces of gold or whatever.
The fortune is the friends you made along the way, Robin.
Like, I'm listening to Baldwin talk, and I'm like a little bit, there's the depression that feeds the comedy, where he says the Iron Hills are no more. If I am to die, why not amongst friends? And I'm like, Baldwin coming in with the heavy stuff.
And then out of nowhere, Ranulf says, we don't have enough money to fill a chamber pot. Ranulf, the plan was never to pay Voltan.
Right. Was he not listening?
Shush.
Yeah.
We're not getting these people together to fundraise. This isn't a 5K run. We're doing a run for the abbess of Clottenberry, everybody.
We're not selling Girl Scout cookies door to door.
Yeah, if we're gonna go
if
fight him,
the
Ranulf,
head of the church did not have the money for it, these guys are not going to raise it with, I don't know, Girl Scout cookies or
right.
Although I don't see. Well, let's talk about the economics of this. I was thinking about this earlier because they keep calling him Lord Hawk. Is it because his brother is the eldest? His brother inherited. His dad was a king. He's a prince.
Yeah, he's
Prince Valiant.
He's a prince of this universe.
Yes. Here we are.
Born to be king.
So they keep calling him Lord. Did his brother Voltan, after he murdered him, get the kingdom? And that's why I own everything. Like, it's kind of that Voltan is an evil king the Dark One, who now rules. He not only rules with evil, he also rules with kingly righteousness.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys think has happened? Like, is he the king? They don't ever say it.
Yeah,
no.
I just wish the folks who wrote the script cared enough about that question as we do.
Well, but then you have the first scene is in a castle with a king and a magic sword.
I mean,
and the rest of the movie's kind of like, bah.
No,
let's be fair. The first scene is in a featureless room painted gold with a weird jacuzzi in the middle.
Wasn't there a matte? Wasn't there some sort of matte painting of a castle?
There probably was, but yeah, not enough to justify.
There's a lot
it.
of rooms in a castle.
Oh.
It could have been just this weird old guy lived in a room.
Like, welcome.
So
to
he
the
lived
shitter.
at a spa. He just lived at a mountain spa.
Yeah.
And had a magic sword and way too many secret passages. All right, so they're all together now.
Yeah,
This is where the
Ranulf's
action starts, right?
Ranulf's like, "Where's our money coming from?" And the witch is like, "Well, hey, you remember that slaver we keep hearing about from a bunch of different scenes? And he's over by the River Shale, and once a month traders come with gold to buy slaves from the hunchback. Sped. It would be fitting justice for his ill-gotten gold to be used for the ways of good."
Or to just be given back to the people and free the slaves. They're good and righteous Hawk. So you guys are just going to be highwaymen, right?
Yeah.
You're doing
Ranulf is willing
you become the thing that you've sworn to destroy.
Yeah, Ranulf is willing to do some wealth or reallocation. But Hawk is going to. We'll see how Hawk handles the situation in the next cut.
Ranulf
can go anywhere.
Yeah, Ranulf is Ranulf. I am going to get what's mine.
But before we can go anywhere, we need to have at least one more flashback.
Yeah, very weird one.
Oh, I just wanted to mention, before the money is brought up, they say it's a day's march, and it's like, excuse me, what? A day's march? Just blip us there.
We're riding a horse.
Blip us.
We also have horses. Why would we care about a day's march? How much is that to ride? Like
just
half an
get
hour?
us there. Could you teleport us to where the abyss is? And
fast travel only works for two people.
Gort, can you fit? Okay, Gort, get in. Okay, I'm in here. I'm kind of in the Gort. Get in the hula hoop now. Okay. Balden, can you get on my shoulders? Crow. Now hug me. Okay. No. Okay. Oh, we're almost there. No. Okay. All right. Hit it.
Who grabbed my ass?
Did he just say diagonally? And they get teleported there. They're all one giant. They turn into Tuvix. They're just one horrible elfin giant with a giant sword. Oh, it's our nightmare.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but yeah, this flashback really. If there's one criticism I have for myself cutting up these cuts, this short little flashback sets up a longer flashback that's happening in the next cut.
Oh, okay.
And I really did us no favors cutting it the way it is, because it's Elaine and Hawk, and they're walking in the gardens, and he's like, I might have to go to war soon, and she's like, I'll stand by you with my sword. That's like, Elaine, you don't have a sword. Stop saying you have a sword. And then like a shadowy figure with a crossbow shows up, and that's it. There's like it makes sense. You didn't cut it off
there. You cut it off, and then the movie cuts it off there.
That's true. Yeah,
it's not you. And then we see the proud table of 5 table. I can't wait till they get to a table, and then we can actually, because there's a table.
It's a party.
They're going. Well, you got to make reservations for a table of 5 or more.
Right.
You're wondering. And we meet yet another creature Baldwin is riding Stompy. Stompy is a tiny little burro.
As opposed to Stumpy, which is Ranulf's horse.
Right. Stompy, Clumpy.
Stompy is shorter than Stumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stompy is smaller. Stumpy just means he has less stuff. He's still a normal sized horse. So
and true to character, Baldwin is just whipping the shit out of this burro, like just beating like the hell out of it with that.
At least he doesn't eat it. So
that's true. Poor little burro.
And so we've got the gang together. It basically took 2 cuts to get there, but we're together now. How far are we into the movie now, Rick? Are we halfway through the movie?
We are literally halfway.
This is the half.
This is the halfway point.
Because this is almost a 15-minute per cut, perfect cut, right?
Exactly. The entire movie is only 93 minutes.
It's crazy though that we're halfway through the movie and they haven't the bad guys and the good guys have not met other than the beginning of the movie.
Right.
Like we haven't had anything.
They met as siblings. They have not yet met as mortal enemies.
When last we met, we were but brothers. Now I am the much older person.
I think they should I think the highwaymen they're constantly running into, they are causing a lot more trouble than Voltan.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. They are menacing. Guys, you got a real highwayman problem in your
you got to clean up those woods, guys. I mean, if there's anything you could be doing right now is riding through the woods and just dispatching these like cutthroats.
But yeah, there's no sword breakdown.
No, there are no sword fights. It's a lot of hammers and whips and bows, no swords.
But this is our first movie that's actually the Swordboys movie that's going to have that. Later, other movies will someday have other groups that will have other things, like Red Sonja, which I have not seen. I assume not everybody has swords, right?
Oh, there are a lot of swords in that movie.
Are there other things though?
I mean, there's giant mechanical fish.
Great.
You know.
Can't wait. I'm sold.
You got that to look forward to?
Can't wait.
Excited.
But that's further on down the line. But as far as this current movie is concerned, join us because next time our heroes arrive at the Abbey at Canterbury for an expository flashback and food-based comedy. Hawk and the others kill and loot Sped, the hunchbacked slaver. Drogo begs his father to let him go out and have some fun with his friends. Then it's back to the Abbey, where the ransom has been collected for more comedy stylings of Gort and Baldwin.
I love your energy on these, Rick, but it isn't really the energy of the movie.
Oh no.
I think some of these should be like next time our team will go
they're gonna hang out around some tables and talk. There's some bullshit with a roast chicken. You know, you'll see it.
Yeah, it's
Baldwin whips a burrow somewhere.
Yeah, Rick is kind of the music of this movie to this movie. Rick is very up, but the movie is not up, and you're just kind of, at least they're writing quickly in this scene when the music starts back up.
Thank God
I've never seen this movie, so exiting every one of our podcasts, I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's get to the next part. And
because every section seems to end with the music playing because they really only have the main theme song, so it's their biggest interstitial between cutscenes. Because our next cutscene, we got to go to the Abbey. We have a few side quests we got to do there before we can move on to this movie.
Yeah,
because the Abbey is the rest of the movie, right? Basically.
Oh yeah, like we get to have a little bit of a side jaunt to Sped's slaver camp.
Yes,
but
outside.
But a majority of the rest of the movie is pretty much in and around the Abbey.
How much mist? Could we make sure there's a lot of mist in the Abbey?
Too much.
Okay.
Too much mist.
How much mist is too much? So great. Well, until 2 weeks from now, it was great talking about this with you guys. So clang.
Clang, clang.
Nope. Clang.
Clang.
You're saying clang. You think you're saying clang, but you're saying clang.
Clong.
I'm gonna whip my burro. I don't know why he's Scottish.